Is you working? Yes, you working. Oh, nice. Yes, indeed. I can tell because everything is going slow. And the kitty gets annoyed. Go away, kitty. You know the rules. You. Oh, I see things I'm interested in. Now. Where the fuck did I put the other thing? I'm so well organized. Aren't I? Yes, I am. Yes, I am very much. Do not question this, as I will deny all potential answers that I don't like hearing. Setting everything up. Now, a professional might do this beforehand, but since I do not claim to be one, I can do this just like this. Now, if you would finish loading while I try to stall like a little bitch, that would be most pleasing to my eyes, ears, and probably everything else. It would also allow me to play games, which I'm pressing up to enjoy. Yeah, you're done, you have loaded? Yes, you have loaded. Nice of you to have finally loaded. It just took you a minute. Well, to be fair, precisely around a minute. I shall take this with grace, and now we shall... Actually, let me get this up, because I remember. Now then, there is much questing to do, much intellectual lusts to be slated, as we are still in the very same carousel that we were in before. Now, you might have forgotten what we are doing, so I wouldn't blame you. Basically, we got into a new district in this nice little city of Sigil. We found a brothel, and being the well and truly good and upstanding people that we are, we just went inside and found a nice little succubus around here that I would very much like to join my team. In order to do so, we're supposed to somewhat prove ourselves as being a bit of an intellectual by finding all the students and talking to them. Now, all of these students, in this case all of the prostitutes, are walking around the different areas of the brothel, and we have talked with them and started solving their problems bit by bit, including finding the quite literal keys to somebody's heart and giving somebody back their voice by applying hefty doses of fiend tongue to their mouth. Works like a charm, so I'm told. We made a very nice woman try to be angry at us, and what else did we do? Oh yeah, we meet somebody who hid in the darkness, and well, that's basically all we did so far. In a good way, I would say. We're getting somewhere, slowly but surely. Now, next in line, we need to talk to Gimasti Edertong, and I will take an educated guess from her name, but her speciality is probably going to be abuse, isn't it? The verbal kind, mind you. Maybe a whip involved too. Who knows? It's nothing to fear because we are immortal, technically speaking, and well, even if the nameless one has no inclination towards masochism, I'm sure he wouldn't mind a few more scars. At this point, at least. I think he's kinda getting used to the whole idea. Now then, talkie. The wild-looking tiefling girl meets your gaze with an angry skull. Her tattooed body is practically naked. Nice. Covered by only a narrow leather thong, a black close brassiere, and armored shoulder pads that appear to serve more as decoration rather than actual protection. Her spiked hair, as well as the thin fur that covers her goat-like legs, is brassy white, and numerous silver rings dangle from her ears, nostrils, lips, and brow. She wears a leather collar around her throat with the inscription Kimaski Eltong. Greetings, salutations, all the good stuff. It is I, Nameless. Roxy bears her teeth at you. And just what are you looking at, you banged up sod? Well, right now I'm looking at your rather naked form. Well, I mean, you know, looking's free, they say. My friend thought you were attractive, but wow, was he ever horribly mistaken? Wanted to rescue. She sneers at Mortar, then looks below him where a body would normally be. Sharp tongue for a steamless deader. You know what? Let them go. Like I'd let mine anywhere near if I had one. What? Did you hear about Brussels? Think you could make some jink here? You flea-bitten Katawa. He's going all out. Can't believe they even let you in the door, but with all that dicks hopping off your shaggy legs. Ticks? You're an annoying insect around here, eh? It's you. She suddenly turns to you. Hey, you here to talk to me or what? Or what? What else I can do with you? What did you have in mind, you sodding jawbox? Good, give me a reason to say no to you. What is your usual then? I'm a practitioner of abuse. Well, color me surprised after that introduction. But yeah, let's try. What's that mean? I'll show you, and lashes out to slap your face, but you manage to barely dodge the blow. Makes you pouts visibly, and goes, oh well. Actually, it's an interesting say. Can you teach Mortar here to be more abusive? She raises her eyebrow. Oh, that's an unusual request. I don't know, seems pretty foul-mouthed already. Hey, that's he, seems pretty foul-mouthed. You can see bladder tongue, you scuffy goat-gammed harlot. You wish you had legs like mine, you pitiful wretch of a bone box. I can walk, run, dance. What do? Pop around, wishing you had a pair. Goats or otherwise. And the two of them lay into one another, exchanging barbed, blistering insults and clashing with razor-edged tongues. Well, I mean, technically speaking, Mortar can do more. He can bite. Wait for it. At last, the two stop the bickering. An eerie silence settles over them as they eye one another hatefully. Finally, Siri makes a grudging admission to Mortar. You're not bad. Really, not bad at all. Better than you, perhaps? Mortar waggles his eyebrow at her. Eh? Lucy notices her eyes at Mortar. Don't push it, skull.
New taunts, alright.
I won't, tiefling. I will admit I might have learned a thing or two, though. Good thinking, Chief. Sure thing, Mortar. Always looking out for little Mortar. When he's not getting kidnapped, that is. Maxie turns to you. So was that all you wanted? I'm not spending any more time here, you didn't have to. Actually, I have some questions. Tiefling rolls her eyes. And what makes you think I care? Why don't you lick my backside? I don't know, technically speaking, that sounds a lot more like what you usually would do at a brothel, so... My tongue's not wide enough, and I don't like hair in my mouth. Well, you seem to like the taste of waffle in your mouth, you dung-breast kitten. Only because it's like kissing you, you mangy stinkpot. Kiss me, she makes a retching sound. I'd rather kiss a bloody mess of phlegm than lay my lips on you. No thanks. Don't thank me. Thank the power someone actually wants to kiss you. She looks at a loss for something to say. For an instant, a smile threatens to crack the grimacing mask of her face, and she becomes more a basilisk than ever. Alright, what do you want of me? Questions answered. She looks annoyed. Fine, whatever. A fascinating thing that. Who are you? My name? Uninterested. I can guess yours though. Scarbunch, get out of here before I put a fire under your ass. What are you doing here? Not you, that's for certain. She smirked at you. I'm contemplating the best way to tell you to pike off. Next. At your Kesasari's half sister, is that true? Yeah, I'm related to that chubby, mewling, hook-nosed daydreamer. Same father, different mothers. So? Okay. Oh, right, one of these, let's call it what it is. One of these prostitutes is actually supposedly a daughter of a Ravel. You know, the one we are looking for. The one who was probably kinda involved in our immortality and all of this nonsense. Yeah, that one. I hear that Kesai Ceres is the Ravel's daughter. Is that true? And she shrugs. As far as I know, yes. She looks suddenly suspicious. Why? Don't worry about it. I told you were she sneaking away from Risa's chambers recently. Is that connected with her missing whale somehow? Risa flies at Rich. Who told you? She's silent, glaring at you through narrowed eyes. If I was there, Burke, I didn't take a filthy veil. Search my room if you'd like. I'll catch you sniffing at my britches though. I'll see to it you're never allowed in again. Why would anyone ever sniff at your britches?
Updated my journal.
Beats me. I must nicked more than a few pair of them though. My favorite leather brazier too. Iron studs. She hums angrily. That is interesting, isn't it? I had another question. I'm trying to find Vivian's scent. Do you know where it might be? Try a hive cutter. Or perhaps it's just similar aroma. To be sure though. Marissa's told it. Marissa, are you sure? No, but I'm hoping you'll go stomping into her room and upset her enough to do something awful to you. Ah, nice. And Crimson Veil, do you know what might be? Up your ass, perhaps? Hells, I don't know. Conversation moves back here, which instantly springs back up into a spiky mess. Well, bit of a problem with that unnaturally demonic powered hair, isn't it? Can't really go for much of a, well, any style, basically, because it just is gonna spring up again. Do you know anything about Ravel Puzzle Well? What would I know about her? I look like a scholar or something to you. You ask someone more learned. Or Eves. She'll probably hear for at last one story about her in that pile of tales she cares about in her bone box. Oh, let's go on a hellbart while you're at it. Good, we know a few things, but not enough.
I'm gone.
Okay, let's go back to Ninny and try to get more information from Ninny about all of this nonsense. Noiko, I know you have not many problems anymore because you have a voice again. Everyone is going to be happy with him to finish here. Oh my god, sir. Well, yeah, we met again. Kimaski said someone's been taking things from her room too. Have you seen anything odd?
Updated my journal.
Ninny's eyes suddenly go white. Oh, that's right. You know. Once I saw a man sneaking out of Kimaxi's room while she was out talking to a patron. I watched the front doors all that day, but he never ever left. Isn't that odd? I don't think he could have made it out a window. So I never figured out where he went, and I totally forgot about it. Weird, That is indeed weird. And I know of one man who has not left this establishment. Hello, Mr. Amra. This is Luis, the talking Amra. I have some questions, my friend. So, how do we gonna do this? You know what? Let's just accuse him outright and go like, Ninny told me she saw a man leaving Kimaxi Chung's room. I think that was you, Luis. You think? Think? How could you be so alarmingly rude, so ludicrously presumptuous as to spout forth such an accusation without being absolutely certain of your charges? How dare you? Impertinent, brassy cur. Why? R2. As with riots and curses, his drawers open and close. You notice a small bundle of crimson cloth. That looks at some clothes. The repeated opening and closing of the armor drawers make it difficult to grab, however. Make a try for it. You simply cannot move your hand quickly enough to snatch crimson cloth from within Louis. Most you could accomplish would be getting your fingers crushed. Pull open the drawer and get the clothes. Mine's closed. You hear puffing and wheezing from the curtain. Go away, you barbarian! We have pentagrams and gloves. Shan't, won't, never. Back and whine. Oh, please stop that rubbish. It's quite tiresome. It transcends all known meanings of the word boredom. I shall back and whine some more. Stop! How did you dull? You're making me quite drowsy. Keep on begging and whining. The Amro yawns, exposing the crimson cloth where it rests snugly beside some undergarments. You nut your hand in and seize it before the door can close itself. Tucking it away, you notice that it is perfumed with a light, exotic, and most pleasant fragrance. Damn it! You rook! Blackguard! Scoundrel! You give that back this instant. That's not yours. It's an exceedingly personal garment. It belongs to a lady of this establishment. They would not appreciate you fondling their private things. Oh, but it's alright for you, you wooden pervert. I'm not doing anything so criminal and malicious as you are. I'm only soaking in sensation, necessary to my growth as an individual. Yes, yes. Well, Armorer, let's hope we'll never meet again. Now, how are we gonna do this nice? Right, let's start with Vivian. You're missing your... you're the one missing your scent, right? Have you any luck finding my scent? Yes, I found it in this red veil.
Updated my journal.
Guys like, oh, how simply wonderful. She takes the veil from your hands, mutters a few words over it, and returns it to you. She shakes out her crimson hair, and in moments, you're surrounded by the most intensely exotic and arousing scent you have ever had the pleasure of smelling. That smells great. It does it not? She smiles at you. And as you have done a favor for me, I wish to perform one for you. Stand close to me, scarred one. Brochure. Step closer to Vivian. She takes your hand and, turning it over, takes a single cautious sniff of your wrist. Phew, she wiggles her nose. Vinegar. Or embalming fluid. Here. I will remove the smell from you. She mutters a few strange syllables, and the light tingling sensation spreads over your skin. In moments, your chemical reek lessens substantially. Yeah, how's that? People should be less eager to avoid conversation with you now. Thanks, Vivian. Charisma increased permanently. Noise. Subject now conversing with human. Dum dum dum. Well, I guess let's talk to Marissa then and give Marissa her a veil. I think there should be nothing else. Wait, let me actually look this up if I can do anything else with the veil, because as I said before, there's a bit much going on here, so I kinda need to do this a bit well, but truly good. Oh, right, yeah. Let's go in here. Yo, Marissa. There you are. Marissa's code. Cruel voice hisses from out of the darkness. It returns! You have a reason for coming this time, I trust? Just more of your pointless questions. Actually, I've brought your crimson veil. And would you please hand it over? Well, of course.
Updated my journal.
Hold the crimson veil before you, and feel her take it from your hands. Ah, yes, much better. Two shining points of red light appear before you as she opens her eyes. So that's what you look like. Perhaps I would have been better off with my eyes shut. Watch that walk tongue of yours, Marissa. Do not get me even started. I have a question. Why did you went by the screen? I suppose because I had lost my crimson veil, but now I do not know. Perhaps I've grown accustomed to dealing with my patrons in this manner. I don't enjoy it. In time, I imagine I will tire of it and venture out into Sigil once more. No, I'm comfortable here. You're getting a bit of an indoor addiction there, my friend. Not a bad thing necessarily, but all in moderation. What did you talk here? What are you doing here? I'm sitting here with my thoughts, listening to a voice, yours. The silence of both of them, literal then figurative, is deafening. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Oh, I think not. You would find the most unflattering at this moment. What is it you want? Well... Hey, tell me about this place. No, I'm not in the mood. Yeah, I would like to hear about Mr.'s little aspiring sensites. Sensites? Yes. Tell me about the sensoriums. Stored in objects called sensory stones. There are two. A public sensorium and a crystal open and a sensate sensorium open only to members. I hear that Kesaceres is Ravel's daughter. Is that true? Oh, I do not know, but I, for one, would not be surprised. For Hera's sake, look at the girl. Ask Juliet, though. The two of them were once friends, before Montague came along. Do you know anything about Ravel Puzzle? Well, never mind, I had another question. How are we gonna do this nicely? I know something about her, mind you. But I can't seem to get it to trigger.
Looks like my skills have increased.
How are we gonna find her out? That woman is not just a woman. I mean, it's not really surprising considering where we are. Kinda want to get this done though before. It should technically begin fire. We should have all the necessary clues and we're not dumb. I mean, we have a quite nice intelligence score. What's what I was trying to say? And then words failed me, thinking about how to actually do this. Well, I mean, it's not really that important. It's just a meager little thing, but
Right. We need to set up camp now.
we're also kinda missing someone, aren't we? Where the fuck is that one? Not the other tongue. He's the tail chaser. This fetching young woman has a faraway look in her soft, sea green eyes. Greetings. Greetings, I'm Eve, the tail chaser. What a coincidence. I too chase tails. That's mortal. Eve continues, unperturbed. Have you come to trade tails? Hmm. Questions. Why are you called a tail chaser? Once upon a time, a girl came to an oracle who was rumored to know many things and asked of it a boon. Her life was in need of direction, so she asked the oracle as to what would give her purpose. Go on. Now, the oracle was not evil, but it was vague and tended towards drink, which caused it to be obscure in many matters of judgment and focus. The only answer to the girl's question was that within one story that she would hear in her lifetime was the truth that she sought. She went often collected stories, which she chases to this day, not knowing which of these thousands holds the truth. Such is the danger of a foolish question, and the wisdom of an unspoken one. What are you doing here precisely? I collect tales. Can you tell me about this place? This is part of Mistress Grave's story, which is not mine to tell. She hopes that she will never need to tell me her tale, for she hopes I will find my own story before that time and leave this place. She fears my life will be squandered in searching for this tale, not acting upon what I already know. But it cannot be helped. Your own story. Can you tell me what? Yes, you look familiar. There was a named Ivana. Yes, but she and I no longer speak. Just as I shall speak no more of her. Okay. Yet that Kisarai's daughter is the
Updated my
true.
journal.
Once upon a time, an elderly man from the Clarksword vanished. His body could not be found. To conceal it, the murderer buried him beneath another body in the cemetery. Diviner told of where the body could be found, and so they dug and uncovered the body, but not that of the elderly man. They were confounded. They were forced to release the man, and it was not until they continued to dig to rebury the older man's body that they found his second body. Sometimes one must dig deeply to find the truth. I see. You know anything about a good old puzzle? Well, Writing of Children begins and ends with a question. What can change the nature of a man? Many were the times she posed this riddle to those who approached her, those who sought to glean from her the strange magics that she alone seemed to possess. All attempted to answer her query, but to no avail. They found the price of their wrong answer to be some horrible fate, always more terrible than the last victims. To recount of various torments would be to speak of things that nightmares are woven from. The tale strikes me this way. Ravel herself knew not the answer to this question. She lusted for such an answer. Only the why of the matter remained in question. Why did the nature of a man matter to one of the Grey Sisters, especially to one of such power as Ravel? It is said that she put the question to the Lady of Pain, not directly, but shouted it to Sigil itself, daring for the lady to answer. When no reply was forthcoming, she wove terrible magic that threatened to open the cage and let the fury of the plains roll in like a wave. She received no answer other than banishment. To this day, no one knows the answer to Ravel's question. And now, there's no one to petition, for Ravel herself is gone, lost to the plains.
Updated my journal.
Wait, there's more. My tale ends with Ravel's demise. There are some that claim the hag still lives. Eco is one such person. Ask her of Ravel and she might tell you more of the hag. Maybe we trade tales. I would like that very much, yes. I know the story of you waking up in the mortuary. Eve leans forward as you tell her the tale of you waking in the dustman's mortuary. She seems to devour your every word. As you finish, she smiles at you. She'll remember this tale. I too will tell the story of the dustman. Chapters of Dust. Oh. There are chapters in that book. the massive tome which the last man keep, that records the passing of all that lives into the eternal boundary. In this book, there are chapters that are not but dust, and it is believed that the names therein are lost souls who cannot die, must suffer life eternally, until history itself dies and grants them release. I have another tale to share with you. Tell her the story of the alley of the lingering sigh. Ah, sigh. Eve leans forward. As I finish, she smiles at you. I shall remember this tale. One for you too. You know what the motto is? Yes. I shall tell you the tale of the clock and the quadroon. Go on. Once upon a time, there existed a modron. It was newly created, its logic fresh and untested, and it had come to sigil following the commands of its modron superiors. It knew of nothing but commands and dictates, obedience in passing along the orders of its superiors. For you see, modrons are only aware of the commands of their immediate superiors. They have no grasp of a higher authority. Until this one. One day it came upon a small shop, within which there was a small clock that could no longer tell time. It was cracked along the edges, the wheels of its hands broken. The modron immediately set itself to work, getting the parts to fix the broken clock. Made a new wooden housing for the clock's parts, replaced the bed springs, carefully fired and oiled the clockwork machinery, and carved new hands from the sparse metal available to it. The new repair clock's precise ticking reminded it of the great gears of Mechanus. They comforted it as much as anything may comfort a modron. And what the modron never came to understand was that it truly loved this clock that it had worked on. For reasons it could not explain, elected to remain in sigil and be with the clock for the rest of its years. Oh yeah, the story of Frequent's curse. I have one for you too, the Gilded Tale. Upon the plain of Ysgard, in the Gilded Hall, there those senates that seek the pleasure of gullet and loin can be found. They indulge these peasants in earnest, never realizing that the doors of the hall never open, that there is no clear path back to the civic fest hall. They are the unwanted sensates, the ones that do not truly believe in the faction, but instead seek only pleasure for pleasure's sake. Prisoners who do not realize they are such, truly prisoners. That's a very good question, actually. Oh yeah, the Alley of Dangerous Angles. The Lady Suitor, that sounds interesting. The tale concerns a suitor of the Lady of Pain, one of many over the years. He was a young man who was obsessed with the Mistress of Sigil. He saw her everywhere, in every corner of the city. He would hear the rustling of her robes, the scrape of her blades, and grew infatuated beyond all reason. He hoped that if he worshipped her, he would at last be able to see her. And so, worship her he did. He was found dead on the blood-soaked steps of his own home, grievous stab wounds covering the whole of his body, but his eyes were open wide, and upon his lips was a triumphant smile. Well, yes, you learned that those blades of the Lady of Pain are not just decor, they're actually pretty damn sharp. Sure, let me tell you the story of Ferret. Now I have one for you. Once came a man who had experienced the most beautiful thing in the universe. It was his intention to place the experience within one of the Civic Fest's sensory stones, a magical device which held feelings and memories for eternity, leaving them for others to partake of. But he thought about it. Wouldn't its being shared dilute the experience? So he held it to himself, precious thing that it was, and aged with the memory. But as he aged, the memory became tarnished and beaten. He could no longer recall the glory of the experience. That is kinda saddening. Sure, yeah, that is the story of Ignis. I shall remember this tale. The execution. That sounds kindly. Once, a murderer roamed Sigil streets. A black-hearted man by the name of Cossacks. He had been blessed by his abyssal mother so that no one could strike him with an intent to harm, or they themselves would die. He reveled in his blessing, using it to start fights and murder anyone who crossed his path. In one of his murderous rages, he was captured by the Harmonium with nets and brought before the governors. The trial was short, final. Cossacks laughed at the proceedings, knowing that no one among them could harm him without dying horribly. Final day of his trial, he was proclaimed guilty and sentenced to death. The Cossack sentence proclaimed by the governors was this: confinement for thrice 30 days, during which time you shall give up your life, be declared dead, and your body removed when all signs of life cease. Cossacks laughed and dared any of them to try and harm him, yet the court was silent. That's a lot of text. The mercy killers led Cossacks to their prison and locked him in a dark, empty cell. There was no cot, no lights. The only door was a steel grate in the ceiling. As they lowered him into the cell, the mercy killer told him, "In the corner of your cell will you find a chalice. It holds poison. Your death will be swift." "Aren't you going to execute me?" Cossack snarled at the guard. "No one in Sigil shall lay a hand on you with the intent to harm," came the mercy killer's reply. Go on. "Then I spit on your cowardice," Cossack laughed, pleading for the chalice in the darkness, then hurling it at the wall and shattering it. Its poison dripped from the walls and dried. It was no more. "Come then, you will have to try and kill me now." But there was no response from the grate in the ceiling. It was then that Cossack noticed the cell had no cot, no lights, and no food and water. All that remained was the shattered chalice, the poison gone. For the first time, Cossacks knew the icy touch of death's approach. In twice 30 days, the grate opened, and Cossack's body, now cold, was taken from the cell. It had given up its life, the execution had been carried out. Smart. He had a nice gift there, which is nice and all, the ability to not be harmed by anyone who wishes harm upon you is mighty indeed, but if they just put you into a cell and starve you to death, then works, doesn't it? Hey companions, do you have any story to tell? Mortar, do you have a story to trade? Me? Why do I have to tell a story? Just tell a story, Mortar. Point. An elderly man was sitting alone in a dark path, right? He wasn't certain of which direction to go. He'd forgotten both where he was traveling to and who he was. He sat down for a moment to rest his weary legs. Suddenly he looked up to see an elderly woman before him. She grinned toothlessly and with a cackle spoke. "Now, your third wish. What will it be?" "Third wish?" The man was baffled. "How can it be a third wish if I haven't had a first and second wish?" "I've had 2 wishes already," the hag said. "Your second wish was for me to return everything to the way it was before you had made your first wish. That's why you remember nothing, because everything is the way it was before you made any wishes." She cackled at the poor Burg. "So it is that you have 1 wish left." "Alright," said the man. "I don't believe this, but there's no harm in wishing. I wish to know who I am." "Funny," said the old woman, as she granted his wish and disappeared forever. "That was your first wish." Never deal with hags. Especially not night hags. Bit of a pain in the ass to do. The Fiend's game. Go on. A fiend sometimes wandered the wilderness of a certain prime world, in the guise of a friendly old man. One day, he came upon hunters in the wood. "What are you doing?" the fiend asked. The hunters told him, and the fiend nodded. "I've never been on a hunt before." The hunters invited the old man to come along, and the group eventually came upon a glade, where several deer were grazing. The hunters carried crossbows, but did not fire. The fiend asked them why. "They are unarmed," the hunters chuckled, patting their crossbows. "We hunt nothing that does not have the ability to defend itself. After all, where's the sport in that?" The fiend nodded at this, and promptly gated in 3 of his fellows. The hunters led them on a merry chase, but eventually they were caught and eaten. Anna, do you have a story to trade? I'm no good at telling such things. I'm not, she frowns. Professor Ansel is trying to shoo away the idea. Don't be asking me for such nonsense now. But I would very much like to hear your story. Please share a story. Come on already, fiendling. You only have 1 tail. Don't part with. Anna looks uncomfortable. Her tail lashing slowly back and forth. "Well, I know one story." Sally becomes angry, glaring at teeth. "You might not like it. You won't, so don't be blaming me for choking it out at time." Go ahead, Anna. Anna goes, and finally relents with an exasperated sigh. "I heard the story when I was a wee lass. Miss Burke's walking home real late, near Antipeak, and passes an old toothless crone in a dark and otherwise empty street. Where you going? She asks him. Home, to my wife in keep, he says. Near the slacks, she asks him. Sure enough, he says. So she asks him a favor, to take a box she's got to Didder's pit and give it to the woman there. Notice Burke's a real sap. Too nice to say no, despite the fact that he's sure something not quite right about his old crone, and agrees. What's the woman's name, he asks. Where does she live? Where should I look for her? She's not by Didder's pit. Woman hands him the box, a wooden thing, wrapped in colored cloth. Tells him to just go, and she'll be there. Plainly she wants him, and whatever he does, do not open the box. Never tell the person to not do it, because that just makes them want to do it all over. So he takes it home with him and hides it in the rafters, thinking he'll bring it by Didder's pit when it's light out. His wife, though, seeing him hiding the box, gets right jealous, thinking it's a gift for a lover or something, and opens it up as soon as he's not looking. That's bad. Well, turns out the box was full of gawked-out eyes. Yikes. And severe male members. It got worse. With the hair still on him. For fuck's sake. Scream brought the Burke running. He remembered what the crone said, got right scared and rubbed the box back up. He went out straight away to Didder's pit. Sure enough, there was another old hag waiting there for him. He hands her the box and she says to him, "This box has been opened and looked into." The poor Burke tries to deny it, but she gets this dreadful look on her face. "You've done something horrible," she tells him, and disappears. That done, he hurries back to his kip. He's feeling ill when he gets back, and takes to bed. His wife bitterly regretted opening the box and all, but it was too late. The next day he died of a rotting disease, and the first things to go was his eyes and stem. And I'm not grimly, but tale complete. That was a wonderful tale. Yes, I kinda disagree. I know you are really going for this whole tail chasing thing, but that was not a nice tale. That was a fucking horrible tale. Basically, a nice guy comes along, sees an old woman, the old woman's like, "Can you do me a favor?" He's like, "Yeah, I can." Okay, to be fair, the old woman was a hag and she had a box full of male members. Also eyes. But yeah, male members. That's something. Let's not think about it. Let's see if Eve has a nicer story to tell. The Parched Land. Once a large village was struck by a terrible drought. The farmer journeyed to the worshipping stone and again implored it because of the drought. He asked the stone why it did nothing. The fields were parched and dying, but the animals and the people suffered while the stone did not a thing. "Have you not given enough offerings?" the farmer asked, begging almost upon his hands and knees. But the stone did not respond. It merely sat and casts its shadow. That's your whole story? That's not much. Companions. Darkon, do you maybe have a story for us? He nods solemnly. I shall impart the tale of Ak Ali drowning. I'm going to get annoyed with the naming sense, but alas. Darkon tells the story of Ak Ali, a foolish Githzerai of myth who had become lost in the chaos of limbo. Normally, a single Githzerai may use their focus and mental discipline to form the chaos around them into a small, habitable environment. Ak Ali, however, asked so many useless and unfocused questions in her quest to return home that the Isle of Matter dissolved around her. She drowned. Fascinating. A tale that I feared. Darkon looks attentive and perhaps a little surprised. Apparently it's just another version of the same tale. I'm interested how this is going to go. Into a different version of Darkon's tale, in which Ak Ali was driven from the Githzerai city of Aklua for the constant useless battling. One day she encountered a Sladi on his way to the spawning stone. She hastily erected a wall of chaos matter, which even the ravenous Sladi found difficult to break down. Hungrily, it waited and spoke to her through the veil. She asked it questions, and as she became more absorbed in her pointless queries, the Sladi's answers, her own wall decayed and collapsed upon her. And thus she drowned in the matter of limbo. Nice. And the result is the same, but a bit different. I don't think I have anyone else. I think I'm freshly out of options. I've talked with basically everyone at this point. Or have I missed anyone? I don't think I have actually. Yeah, I think I actually got everyone. But just in case, let us do one more little round. This alarmingly voluptuous woman has a thick mane of wavy raven-colored hair, blue skin and shimmering crimson eyes, like rubies, which have fires lit behind them. Though she is not beautiful in the typical sense of the word, her features are exotic and not altogether unattractive. One's voice is deep and sensuous, and my greetings to you, sir. The burning eyes roam over you. I'm Kesai Ceres, so tell me, what might I do for you? Anything, Mordor cries. Do anything you want to me. Kesai laughs heartily, revealing canines long enough to be considered fangs. She shakes her head and smiles at Mordor. Truly though, please, what can I do for you? Kesai. Are you Ravel's daughter? Bars her teeth, eyes narrowing to slits of blazing crimson. What? Where do you hear such a thing? God told me.
My journal.
Ridiculous. I think I'd know if that wicked hag was my own mother. Now stop bothering me about it. Who is your mother then? Don't know, alright? My father raised me. I never knew her. But do I look like a night hag to you? Well, I mean, there's the skin and the eyes and maybe the teeth too. Perhaps we'll speak later. I'm no longer in the mood. Well... It depends. What sort of things do you do? Talk, of course. Usually about dreams, often those erotic in nature. But not always. Kesai winks at you, smiling. So, would you like to tell me yours? Don't be shy. I've heard everything, you know. Nothing will shock or surprise me, and I so love to hear people's dreams. I'd write if you like too, but you must go first. Yeah, my dreams were recently revised when I saw you, a lady. Going like, why are they now? Kesai smiles. Gleaming red eyes looking you over once more. You look very savage, you know. Tell me, are you rough with your lovers? In the act, I mean. Very physical? Very private questions. Do you mean abusive? How many options do I have? Well, the answer is I don't know, really. Because I paused for a moment and shrugs. If you're uncomfortable speaking about it, that's alright. I would say though, you shouldn't have any such reservations with your lover. These things are important to discuss, especially before the act, you know? Be best for both of you. Keep that in mind. Say, you never did tell me about your dreams, you know? Come on, let's have them. I don't have dreams, actually. Truly, how sad. Even fiends and divas dream, you know? Are you certain you don't? Quite certain, actually. No dreams at all. Too peculiar. Lost what to say. Let's have some questions. If you don't mind me asking, what are you? What can't you tell? I think I'm proposing to watch you. A woman! My. I can see my answer doesn't please you. I'm plain touched. Actually, like a friend here. And that's all you need to know. Yeah, that's all I need to know, apparently. Can you tell me about this place? Certainly, the brothel of slating intellectual lusts. It's actually a school for women who are thinking of becoming sensates. Yeah, about the sensates, that's gonna be the same nonsense we always hear. Anything about royal puzzle battle? No, nothing. Are you sure? You seem suddenly upset. Of course I'm sure. Don't ask for me. I've spoken to 9 prostitutes also. Do you know who or where the 10th student is? The 10th? No, there's only 9 of us. There's always 9 prostitutes. Unless Mistress Grace has made some recent changes I don't know about. It's such a bloody fucking obvious thing when you think about it, but that requires you to actually sit down and think about it. There were only 9 prostitutes here, as there have always been. Then how can there be 10 students if they're counting all the prostitutes as students? The answer is surprisingly easy when you think about it. Problem is, I still don't get her to do what I want her to do. Now, let me give you a bit of a spoiler here. I know that she is not just any plain touch little creature hiding in the darkness here, but she's a bit special. Now, I technically want her to do something for me, but I can't fucking get her to do what I want her to do. What I want her to do. When she's quite literally doing what she wants to do. That's not what I want to do. Bit of a pain in the ass, that one. And I don't think... actually, maybe one of the other prostitutes can tell me more about that. I don't think so, but... yeah, Miss Abusive. Yeah, I do love your abuse oh so very much. I don't believe you for a second. I spoke to 9 prostitutes altogether. Do you know who or where the 10th student is? Yes, she's hiding under my bed. Go ahead, get down on all fours and check. I shan't kick you, really. Okay, just for fuck's sake, get down on your knees and check. As you look beneath your Maxi's bed, nothing's there, of course. You become aware of her standing behind you. I couldn't, it's just too easy. Get up, you poor stupid tater. There's no 10th student. See, she actually has a heart in that... slightly poisonous tongue and other things. Debate, play game, question. This is difficult. Questions. I can't. For love of my, figure this out. Apparently I have become stupid. I mean... just somewhat. Still, this is a nice little bit of riddling that I got going here. I'll give them that much. I think we might actually have a good chance to finishing with the Brosel. I think. Now let's completely ignore the mode runs because, well, nothing special, honestly. At least not in this world.
How may I help you?
Can you tell me about the girls here? Ladies in training. I spoke to 9 of the students as you asked, but couldn't find the test. Do we want to do it like this? Can we get to... how curious. I'm thinking the 10th student is me, in which case I've spoken to all of them. She nods. Very well. And your thoughts? You should get rid of all the armorers in the Brosel and use them as firewood. I mean, that is something we learned. Teaching within a sheltered environment such as this only harms the student. I do want you to give me the best potential amount of stuff I can get. I've learned what it means to aspire to be sensate, and that it is better to go in search of experience rather than have it come to you. Very well, I will travel with you if you still desire my company. I do. Who wouldn't desire their very own personal succubus in the team?
Oh, Mistress High and Mighty will be joining us. What do we need her for?
You couldn't possibly understand.
I wish she would fall from great height. I might even bump her off myself.
Ah,
Right, we need to set up camp now.
so, can you tell me about the Tannery fiends? They've embraced evil for chaos' sake. They dwell upon the poisoned plains of the abyss, where they feed on their own rage. They forever seek to tempt others into committing crimes of passion. Are you a Tannery? That is correct. I am a lesser Tannery, more specifically, a succubus. She gives a soft sigh. I'm afraid we're a little too common in the lower planes and for our own good. Most of my race spent the time seducing mortals with various pleasures of the flesh. I think we already went through this, so... How did you come by the name Fall from Grace? Meaning of names is a complicated subject. There's much to be said, and a great deal that is better left unsaid. Excuse me. Is Fall from Grace your real name? Perhaps. She smiled slightly. Perhaps not. There are names which are given and names which are earned. Who's to say which is the real one? I'm not sure I attach any value to a name, actually. Truly, a name is a cloak of letters thrown across a person, nothing more. The name can sometimes tell you something about a fraction of the person. Maybe even help define that person. That's not who the person is. The point is well taken. So, why I call Fall from Grace? Would it matter? It is but a cloak of letters. It matters to me. I would like to know how you came to be called that. I have fallen from my people. Some would say risen from my people. Perhaps. But fall feels more right to me. She looks at you questioning. Does that make sense? Well, yes it does. After all, fall carries with it an underlying sense of loss. Ah, yes. Perhaps that is why it felt as it did. I came to terms with the loss long ago, but the name has remained. I am certain about that. Fall from Grace meets your gaze. You are once again struck by the brilliant shade of blue in her eyes. It is turbulent, like the ocean before a storm. I had thought so. Yet in speaking to you, you have caused me to realize some things. You have my thanks. You want to talk about it now? Let me know.
Yes?
Morte. Morte is most peculiar. I've seen a great deal in my life, but nothing quite like him. He behaves somewhat like a mimir. Granted, there's no denying he's knowledgeable, but he has a certain... He sniffs the air and wrinkles a nose. Baturian smell about him. Baturian smell, you say? Yes, but he's not a Batizu, least of any variety I've encountered. The smell alone, however, makes me treat this skull with caution. What do you mean when you say Batizu in Baturian? My apologies. Bata is one of the outer planes, the home of a race of fiends called the Batizu. They're evil creatures, yet they are organized and lawful in many of their behaviors. Some might call them devils. They believe in contracts and hierarchy. In many ways, they are like evil bureaucrats. That is double, because every bureaucrat is evil at heart, of course, so an evil bureaucrat, it's doubling down on your concept. And as we all know, in the eyes of society, two evils make one good, so... Since crazy logic is to be applied here, that would actually make a lawful good bureaucrat, which in and of itself is an impossibility. The planes would quite literally collapse before you find a bureaucrat that had actually, you know, a heart. It is bigger than the size of a raisin. Yes, I have a certain hatred of bureaucrats. Just saying. Let me just say, you know, when you have dealt with a few things, and the longer your life lasts, the more you will have to deal with those nasty little fucking pain in the asses. And I can't even make this sound nice. So what were you saying about Baturian smell? So what were you saying about Mimia? I'm saying enclose encyclopedias. Jesus Christ, my language apparently had left me. Knowledge. Your Honor may ask them questions, and they possess the knowledge. They will inform the user of what it knows. And Morte is a Mimir. I don't believe so. Morte lacks the silvery metal that Mimirs customary have. Seems to have an attitude of his own. Such qualities are not present in conventional Mimirs. Grace shrugs slightly. He may be one, but he's unlike any I've ever encountered. I honestly don't believe he's a Mimir either. Perhaps there's some test to verify his authenticity. I would not do one if you were him as a friend. If you do, then you must accept what he has told you. I see.
Yes.
Do you ever use weapons? No. I seldom the need, and I find that I cannot bear the touch of cold iron, or even steel for long periods of time. In any event, I have a number of natural defenses that tend to discourage attackers. Such as
My journal.
the kiss of a succubus is lethal to mortals, thus they rarely realize the danger until the death is almost upon them. They can resort to it when the need arises. I see. Yeah. Yeah, we already talked about that before.
Yes.
Can I read your diary? No. Please? The lady must have her secrets. Eve said you had a tale you wouldn't share with her. That is correct. Eve needs no more tales adding to her misery. Malta would not serve her search for truth. But you tell me, it is a long tale and not as interesting as some would make it out to be. It's intertwined in other tales of war and slavery. It is not a pleasant tale. I will still hear it. Very well. Now my past is not a long one, at least by Tanaree standards. I do not know if you are familiar with the Tanaree, but we are a race of the Abyss, a staggered series of planes filled with chaos and evil hearts. I am Tanaree, a fiend, a succubus. I grew up upon the first plane of the Abyss. My mother was a succubus herself. As I am sure you are aware, succubi tempt mortals to bring their souls to the Abyss. My mother was among the finest, seducing countless mortal men to their eternal damnation. She now dwells in the Abyss, selling her children to slavery. Your mother sold you into slavery then? Yes, she sold me to the Batezu, the blood enemies of the Tanaree. I think she rather expected that they would kill me. Despite her knowledge of other subjects, she knows little of their culture, the delight they take in tormenting others. Sounds pleasant. How did you escape? Batezu are a proud species. The thought of Tanaree would best them at anything was intolerable to them. So I challenged one of them proudest of the pit fiends to a contest of improvisation. My Tanaree nature afforded me an advantage. You see, the Tanaree are creatures of chaos, wild and unpredictable. Batezu are more cunning, with orderly hearts. They understand improvisation, but they're not its best practitioners. And thus I won my freedom, and my past brought me to Sigil. It's an interesting past.
Yes.
It kinda begs the question why your mother sold you in the first place, but maybe there was a good reason for it. Well, let us not focus on that overly much. We have kinda gotten what we wanted out of this, first and foremost, namely our little companion. Also means that I now have a full set. Now, she is a priest. A succubus female priest. The irony of that all. She's a part of the, you know, Society of Sensation with sensates. And you are part of the Free League, the In-Depths. In-Depths are individualistic bloods who have banded together to protect themselves from the other factions. Truth? There is no truth. Just live free or die. So basically anarchists. And then we have me, who is technically part of the Dustmen right now, but you know. Bit of an ironic thing, that one. Now, I think this is not going to work probably, but I'm still going to try to talk to Melissa now with my newest companion. Let's see if we can now maybe be like, I know what you are. Please help me with my little problem. Jesus Christ. Well, sadly this does not seem to work itself out like I wanted to, but alas, can't really do much about that. Let me see then. She doesn't want to believe it. I mean, I kinda understand that she wouldn't want to believe that. I, 'cause, I, mean, I kinda understand that she wouldn't want to believe that. Hmm. 'Cause, I, kinda understand that she wouldn't want to believe that. Hmm. 'Cause, I, kinda understand that she wouldn't want to believe that. Hmm. 'Cause, I, kinda understand that she wouldn't want to believe that. Hmm. 'Cause, I, kinda understand that she wouldn't want to believe that. Hmm. I mean, I kinda I think actually I do know, and that is actually the whole reason why I had a guide open to go through the puzzle, that the process is
All right.
somewhat buggy, so it sometimes happens like this. Pain in the ass. But not the worst. Sure, let's do this one more. This thin, sharp-faced man rushes towards you, calling for your attention. Ah, sir, but a moment of your time. Were you perchance here to visit the tailor? The man breaks in. I asked, sir, because I seem to have offended the man. I had commissioned the hot-blooded fool to make me a costume, but he's thrown me out of the shop. Will not speak with me now. So what? The man suddenly balls his fist and shakes them at the sky. What have I done to deserve such treatment? Nothing, I say. I was a patron. It is his duty to serve me, that churlish buffoon. Yeah, sure, what do you want from me? Focus on you again. Oh, yes, you. Yes, me, you were talking to me. And could I beg of you to enter this place and fetch my costume for me, sir? I have a masquerade to go to, and have not the time to commission another tailor. Why don't you just fetch it yourself? That poor crying loud. I somehow offended the puffy, pump-filled jackanapes. It's forbidden me to enter a store. The prisoner to have words with me. Sure, but not for free. Yule, what? For power's sake, man, you're just fetching a costume. It won't take but a moment of your time. Certainly don't think such a meager act is worth a wage, sir.
Updated my journal.
Oh, most excellent, sir. This very building right here points a long, low structure just north of him. I thank you, sir. Pain in the ass.
Done.
Done and done with. Changing room. Now then, gone calves, let me talk to you. A short, heavy-set, middle-aged man, wearing clothes that seem to be spun of glittering gold. In his hands he holds a bolt of clothes strung together across a wooden frame. He's currently embroidering some pattern into the fabrics. Greetings. The man doesn't seem to acknowledge your presence. He continues to work at his embroidery, muttering under his breath. His huge shimmering motes of light seem to sparkle and drop from the tip of the needle. Oh boy. Greetings. Greetings, Masha. Goncalves. Goncalves immediately turns from his work and bows politely to fall from Grace. A gesture, she returns. Greetings, Lady Grace. How's it that I can help you today? The order is almost complete. There's no need for haste at my request, Master Goncalves. Your skill demands time, and no doubt what comes from your hands will be pleasing. I'm not here regarding that matter, rather. This man here, fall from Grace bows to you, wished to speak with you for a moment. Of course, and so, sir, what was it you were here to see me about? Questions, my friend? Hope 'tis about garments that you like. Surprisingly enough, a tailor would want to speak about garments. I wanted to pick up a dustman costume. You're luck then, sir. I don't have one available. Costs 30 copper commons. Sure. Got the ropes from under the counter. Here you are, sir. Would warn you, though, if this is for the upcoming masquerade of Lord Eart. Many folk are already attending as dustmen. That's not good. Let us talk to the man outside then about this. Well, did you get the costume? Yes. Here it is, cost me 30 commons. Wait a sec before we run off. Because that many people are already going to his masquerade as dustmen. Pity, blast, would have arrived in such a common costume. Well, I could try and get another one for you. It cost you. Should have figured, here, you mercenary. This will be enough, I trust. That'll do.
Updated my journal.
I'll return with another one. Sure. Ugh, pain in the ass. Come again, good sir. What can I help you with? Questions? Do you have another different costume? Last bit seemed a bit too common after all, eh? Just happens that I have a Godsman costume if you would like. It will cost you only 50 coppers. I'll take it. I mean, this is at least a somewhat easy quest, isn't it? Did you get a costume? Yes.
Updated my
50
journal.
commons, makes a disgusted noise. Snatches a costume from you and shows 50 coins in your hands. Oh, I've got to be off. I mean, you know, at least it
I'm
worked.
gone.
And we now have this out of the way. Questions. Curtis lights you were embroidering. Yep, nothing, sir, but a bit of the art. Which I at times weave into fabric when the fancy strikes me. Those items which I lavish enchantments upon. My most special creations. Rarely sold. Sort of magical clothes do you have available? Nothing that would fit you, that is for certain. Well, then. We have the bodies of the Godless Priest, the bodies of the Perilous Quest, the Jerkin of the Brazen Rook, and the Jerkin of the Fitting Shadow. Now I'm going to make a bold assumption. Yeah. Bold assumptions indeed. Indeed. Now then, let's see, what do we have here? The Jerkin of the Flitting Shadow, armor class 6, pick skill, stealth, usable only by honor. Armor was clearly fashioned for a woman. Even at a glance one can tell it is one of the highest quality. Every part of it, from its supple leather bending to its quadruple stitched seams, padded silk lining, speaks of impeccable craftsmanship. One class wove a number of enchantments into the lining, so there is more prone to blend into surrounding shadows. Nice. And the other one, armor class 4, THU plus 1. I mean, it has better armor class and it gives me... But I mean, pickpocket skill, stealth bonus skill. Honestly, it's probably better to get that one for... I do love that sound effect of leather armor. Bodies of the Perilous Quest. Bodies much like the one fall from grace, Madame of the Brothel of Slating intellectual lusts often worse. Great care in enchanting the weave, just clean itself and repair minor tears. Nice. Its magic will slowly heal. Special increases regeneration. Memorize 3 additional first level priest spells. Memorize 2 additional second level priest spells. That seems a lot better. Honestly though, but main usually regeneration sucks though. Let's be honest here. Now then, let's actually see how my inventory looks. I have Film's book. For some reason. I don't even know why I have that or why I picked it up. But let us not think about that too much.
Hey, watch the leather. Hey, watch the leather.
This ceremonial armor is the symbol of Azurth. I will not part with it.
Kinda thought so. And, well, you are just naked.
I do not think we know each other well enough.
Oh well. Also this one. Made from paper-thin silver sheets. The engraving of a woman is on the cover of the text, and there's a small lock on the side of the book. No matter how you try, the lock resists your attempts to open it. Well, I didn't want to read it anyway. Right, now we need to... I mean, technically we don't need to do anything, but there is another one around.
Done.
A messenger, if memory serves. Was he in front of the hall? No, he was not. Where was he? Oh well, that was easy enough. A slender young man approaches you, wearing a somewhat worried expression. 1,000 pardon, sir, but I'm looking for a certain man, and I think you might be able to help. How so? I'm a messenger, sir, who seeks a man that said cannot die, a scarred man, for whom death hath nothing but the most trivial of annoyances. You match the admittedly vague description I was given, sir, and wondered if you were he. And who wants to know? I am in the high of a wealthy nobleman, Jolmy Sirma. Well, I am the man you're looking for. He nods and bows deeply to you. A message for you then, sir. Mistress Jolmy of the House Sirmer, a lady of high standing, has sent me. Mrs. Jolmy would meet you in the civic fest hall, where she would make a proposal, of which I know nothing, to you. Should you choose to seek her out, she wears green silks trimmed with gold and has hair the color of blue steel. Send of Master, farewell. Wait, where's the civic
Updated
fest
my
hall?
journal.
In the northeastern corner of this part of the Eric's Ward. Yeah, well. And my little succubus is flying around. I do love Wolfram Waste. She is a very, very nice and ironic character when you think about it.
We need to set up Kip now.
Mostly because she is a bloody
I'm gone.
fucking succubus that is doing everything that is not succubus-like.
All right.
There it is. I was waiting for this music to start. Because actually, we are once again out of time. I kinda want to have a bit more time, but, well, such is my fate during the week. But I still wanted to enjoy a bit of the soundtrack, which we're going to hear probably a bit more of next time. I think we actually have a few things to do inside here, if memory serves. There's also some nice little things about that will happen in here. I do remember vaguely that there was some things that were just were somewhat funny. Just let's say it like this and let's keep it like this. You know, keep the surprise open. But alas, for at least now, I shall bid you adieu. Have a good one as usual, and to no one's surprise, I shall be back tomorrow. And probably still during the evening. I had some hope that I might find some extra free time, but right now I'm kind of busying myself running around and looking for a replacement for my little oven, because I do need that thing back in working order. So I'm kind of, you know, wasting a bit of time for that, because, well, so much fun. Alas, so can life sometimes be. Let us not think about that too much. But yes, tomorrow is once again going to be Eastern, so probably trails, you know, probably. Even there could of course be a surprise for something else, because in the end, still the only really deciding factor is, well, mostly my mood, luckily enough. Now then, without much further ado, and yeah, would probably not be a good idea to hang around too long, all things considered. So yes, bye bye for the moment, and I'll see you around. Thanks for everyone that dropped by, and yeah, I think I will now have to take care of the kitty because he's screaming in the background, and that's never a good sign.